Hello everyone and welcome to the 15th episode of Fictional Characters Collide. And remember to check before watching this episode, remember to check out the animator Nemesis Bloodscythe in the description below. He's an amazing animator and I can't wait to see him again on this series. But right now, let's get on to the fight. In this episode, we got the battle of the two dark rulers with evil black magic. Dr.Doom versus Ganondorf. It's your rule of great demon here. It's my job to analyze both these characters to their fullest to see what happens when these two fictional characters collide. Long before the Kingdom of Hyrule, the first hero to bear the name Link fought and defeated the world's oldest evil demon king, Demise, and sealed his soul within the Master Sword to be gradually destroyed over the passing centuries to prevent his return. Demise had been polite, but he was still a real sword loser, and he swore his hatred would give life to a reincarnation that torment those with the blood of his mortal enemies and the goddess of Hylia, in the spirit of the hero. It just took over hundreds of years, people, for that incarnation to come into being. When it did, it was born into the Grotto, a race of women thieves who only have one man born every 100 years. Who by right becomes their king, because that's the best idea how to make a king. Hey, you're the only boy over 100 years to be born in our race. You're the king. Don't matter who you are. And that man was known as the Dark Prince of Evil himself, Ganondorf. And as great as it is to rule over a bunch of really hot women in a really hot area, that man had bigger plans. Also, the Grotto lands consider of a rocky valley and a big patch of sand that's barely worth ruling. It has nothing of value to destroy. I mean, I can see that happening. Like, hey, look at this giant fucking piece of sand. What am I supposed to rule here? I mean, really? Ganondorf set his sights on taking the Triforce in Hyrule and intentionally finding loyalty into the king of Hyrule, while he tried to find the 3 spiritual stones needed to open the door of time. That barred his way to the Triforce. He apparently did his own research, and since he knew where to look for them. Since the holders refused to hand them over, he turned a bunch of monsters loose to force them to hand over them or die. Cause, hey, don't listen to me, you get your freaking body devoured by monsters. Except with the Zoras. And that he seemed just to do it for kicks. He still kills them. He was trying to gain the power for sake of being able to oppose others. That kind of cruelty is to be expected. Regardless, he failed to get his hands on 2 of the stones. And when he eventually showed his true colors and attacked Hyrule Castle, he failed to take the Ocarina of Time. Everything started going good. He took over the world. He was about to be the ruler of everything. But then, a little kid named Link showed up and found the Triforce where Zelda tossed before Ganondorf can actually find. Ganondorf didn't seem to notice, but he still figured that Link had the means to opening the door, and then would go ahead and do it, and appeared to break the 4th wall and let the player know that they just handed the power to rule to the world. Not quite. Ganondorf did touch the Triforce, but he valued power all of everything else. So that Triforce of power was the only part that stayed with him. But it's pretty much the best one of them all. It was the only part that stayed with him. The other 2 went to Link and Zelda. But after all this, he was sealed again, but soon to come again as Ganondorf once more. Okay, that was a big explanation about his story, but right now, let's get on to everything else. His first thing is his moveset. He has a big moveset. He has the Warlock Punch, and yes, I'm using some Smash Bros stuff because he does more fighting in that game. It's a charged fist with dark magic and throws a powerful forward jab to launch his enemies into the sky. The analogous to the Falcon, it's like the Falcon Punch, but it's far less awesome. The Warlock Blade is the thrust with his sword, which is long enough and better speed but lacks the power. The Warlock Thrust is a faster but weaker version of the Warlock Punch. The Wizard Foot is a rushing forward kick with foot ablaze with dark magic. When used in mid-air, will dive down at the angle. Wizard Drop Kick is a jump before performing a kick, and the Wizard Assault is faster than Wizard Foot goes through opponents, and will go straight down if used in mid-air. The flame choke is a rush forward to grab opponents by the neck and blast them with a point blank of magic. If used in midair, it will drop the ground and slam the opponent into the ground itself. The flame wave is upon grabbing, it sends its opponents into the air with 2 hits. The flame chain is used upon grabbing again and unleash multiple attacks rather than 1. The dark dive is a jump upwards to latch onto enemies and electrocutes them. It then springs off with an explosion. And it makes for a decent recovery move, and the dark vault goes higher than the dark dive but can only grab when starting the move. And the dark fist cannot grab opponents but strikes with his fists instead. Now he has some really doable weapons with his arsenal, but he doesn't really use them, like the broadsword, longsword, and the sage sword. But those won't be used because they're mostly things he would never use in a fight. Now, there's something you all have to know about him, is his magical abilities and his Triforce of Power. His magical ability lets him specialize in the dark arts, and has to put entire cities in chaotic states. He has the power of brainwashing, limited flight, necromancy, and amplifies his physical abilities in electrical spears, ground tremors, black hole attacks, where he gathers energy into a black vortex and then fires multiple blasts of lightning. The Triforce of Power, though, is obtained during the takeover of Hyrule, and it amplifies his physical and magical abilities, and has restored Ganon to power and life multiple times, and likely to draw the evil minds to his influence. And speaking of Ganon himself, Ganondorf can turn into these Ganon forms. Ganon is simply a final transformation where strength and size increase dramatically, and all of them resembles a pig in some way. His first incarnation happened in the Ocarina of Time, where he stands anywhere between 10 and 12 feet tall, wielding 2 massive swords and can destroy stone pillars with a single swipe. But his tail is his weak point. The Beast Ganon is one of the biggest incarnations of Ganon. It can charge through Hyrule Castle walls with ease, and can teleport briefly open portals. It can scar on abdomen, and a scar on the abdomen is the weak spot of this one. The Warlock Ganon, started in the most Zelda games, wields a massive trident, magic, fire, and lightning, and teleportation, monetary intangibility, meaning he can't be hurt during that time, portal creation, and even more. But with Ganon, he does have received some many feats. He became the king of the grotto by rights, invaded the sacred realm to take control of the Triforce, and only claimed the Triforce of Power. He manipulated Vatoi, Enoch, Virot, and Zant, terrorized Hyrule in multiple timelines, survived multiple fatal wounds by falling into an actual castle and getting stabbed into the heart. But he does have his own little weaknesses. He's prideful and cocky, and the weapons of light do serious damage and can still die by magic, not just holy weapons. That's actually shown to be a whole outlier. And then like stuff like the Master Sword, light arrows, and silver arrows being the prime examples of things that can beat Ganon. All in all, Ganon is a really powerful being. Ganondorf is a really powerful being with multiple magical skills and transformations, turning into the incarnation of Ganon himself. But he is cocky, and he will be killed by magical and actual holy-like weapons. But is he strong enough to handle against Dr. Doom? Let's find out. Okay, for one black magic ruler to another, let's go on with Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom was born as Victor Von Doom. Wait, Von Doom? Like fondue? The food? In the fictional, he was born in the fictional country of the fictional European country of La Traviera from a gang of gypsies. Victor lost his mother to a failed bargain with the demon Mephisto, fleeing into the mountains. Victor's father died of the cold temperatures while Victor lived on, seeking a way to speak to his deceased parents for the remainder of his young life. His search to increase his knowledge led him to the State University of New York, where he would meet his future rivals, Reed Richards and Ben Grimm. While at the university, he developed a machine that will allow him to see in the astral planes of existence and rescue his mother. Ignoring Reed Richards' warnings of a miscalculation in his computing, Victor ignored him, thinking he's always the smartest guy around. Like some people I know, maybe me, causing Doom's machine to blow up in his face. No, literally, it blew up in his face. He was expelled from the university, forcing him to travel the world, where he came to Tibet, discovering a village of monks that created a suit of armor for him. With this suit of armor and his vast intelligence, Doom had to return to his homeland. Overthrowing its leader and declaring himself the king of Latveria in this country, Dr. Doom plotted his revenge against Reed Richards, the man he blamed for his failed experiment that scarred his face. Where is Latveria anyway, people? You're asking? Well, according to the Marvel database, somewhere between the nations of Hungary, Serbia, and Romania. Dr. Doom is its monarch, but he is also its protector. The country is composed of gypsies, but it's one of the richest countries in Europe. Its major exports advance in technology, despite its country that's full of those people who kept stealing my wallet. Well, yes, they stole my wallet when I went there before. Well, yes, Dr. Doom has a large anti-racism policy in Latveria. He built robots to protect its borders. It's the only European country whose sources of energy doesn't create industrial pollution like other countries. And Doom has even created robot clones of himself to ensure he keeps a level of control when he's off trying to destroy the Fantastic Four or take over other countries. The country is also well known because of its leader, Dr. Doom, has an embassy set up in parts of the world for him to legally hide in if he's accused of a crime in another country. Damn, that's actually pretty awesome. So even if he tries to blow up New York, if he's inside his Latvian embassy, he can't be arrested. In fact, when he does come into America's soil, Captain America is mostly his bodyguard then. Doom's diplomatic immunity is something that has saved him many times from going to jail. In a crossover between Marvel and DC, even Superman, the Man of Steel, himself couldn't do anything to Dr. Doom because of his diplomatic immunity. Okay, let's stop talking about this guy's backstory and immunity to doing anything he wants. Little person. Let's talk about his equipment. Let's start with the Doom armor. It is based on high-strength titanium alloy. It's strong enough to withstand missile blasts at point-blank range, an atomic grenade in his face, and even the hardest blows by the Incredible Hulk. Like, he even took a full-on headbutt by the Hulk and only got a little dent on his armor. It enhances his strength, allowing him to lift several tons in weight. He has an electric shock exterior, meaning anything that touches him he can shock him with. He has sensory system, meaning Dr. Doom can allow Dr. Doom to listen in on Fate's frequencies. He has an air recycling system that allows Dr. Doom to survive underwater and in space for extended periods of time. His solar absorption cells lets him absorb solid energy and store it into his armor systems. Can only be used when the force field is deactivated though. He has the twin rocket jetpack, allows for long distance travels or fast getaways from harm's way. He even has rocket boots, which allow short distance travel. Well, with powers and abilities, he was raised by gypsies and monks, letting him learn actual magic, and his armor does have the base of the best technology. He has energy blast, strong enough to obliterate its sentinel in one shot. He has a generated force field, strong enough to endure being flung into atmosphere and Iron Man's regular repulsor blasters. Stronger than Invisible Woman's force fields, he has mind transfer, means he can manage to avoid death from terrorists by swamping his mind with a random passerby. With his gypsy magic, he has magic that is on par with Doctor Strange. Yes, the Doctor Strange. He could summon spirits, teleport, and create mystical blasts and force fields with his suit energy, but it did show to fail him a few times. He is a master hypnotist, where he can hypnotize people like the huge Cthulhu-like creature to serve him. He has outstanding willpower. He endured months of torment in hell without once being broken in. He's skilled to hand-to-hand combat, when he went to toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, Captain America, and Black Widow without using his technology, and defeated all three of them. And his suit of armor is really strong. He even showed to break diamond with his bare hands. Can break through actual nets. Fought off against people like Silver Surfer, Galactus, Hulk, Thor, and even fought against Iron Man at a few points. With his speeds, he single-handedly brought down the universe's most powerful beings, such as Silver Surfer, Galactus, Thanos, and the Beyonder. He overtook his home country of Latveria and declared himself as king. He created a time machine using only the armor of his and Iron Man's. He killed a rogue adult lion naked with his own fists. And pretty much more. But he does have some weaknesses, people. Like a lot of people do. He has an inflated ego. He really thinks himself as the highest being around, and that will get him killed on most occasions. He's arrogant like hell. He adheres to be a strict code of honor, meaning he won't kill people without doing it in an honorable way. But all in all, Dr. Doom is a very powerful being with great magic and technological ability that he used to take down many other beings stronger than him, like Galactus and Silver Surfer. But he does have a code of honor and an inflated ego that can get in his way. But is he strong enough to take on the Dark Prince himself, Ganondorf? Let's find out. Okay, the combatants are set. It's time to settle this debate. It's time for these two fictional characters to collide.
What a farce! Bow before me! Fight! Got you! You will burn! Unacceptable! Foot dive!
Hey everybody, I'm Nemesis Bloodrock the Animator, making my obligatory cameo at— wait, what's going on? What's that? Holy God damn it! What the fuck? Shut up, who in?
Simpleton! You have no hope! Bah! You have entered doom! You fool! This game is over! Beware my dog! This! I'm done here.
What an amazing animation. Remember to check out the animator Nemesis Bloodscythe for this amazing fight. And I really hope he's okay now after that little cameo. Whoever was up there, I hope he's okay. I hope he saved him. But right now, let's explain why Dr. Doom would win this fight. Dr. Doom is just a whole nother ledge compared to Ganon. If he can tank hits from the Hulk and don't get a dent in his armor and be fine, then Ganon can't do that much damage to him. And not to mention, Dr. Doom's magic is highly stronger than anything Ganondorf has shown. If he has magic that's on par with Doctor Strange, one of the most powerful magical users in the Marvel Universe. And also, he survived fights with people like the Silver Surfer, Galactus, the Hulk, and also Thor. Way stronger beings than Ganondorf could ever be. The best thing that Ganondorf hoped to do was actually use his giant forms, but that can only get him so far. It's only a strength boost, but not that much. And like we said, he did survive punches from the Hulk, fights with Thor and Mjolnir, fights with freaking Galactus, the devourer of worlds. If Dr. Doom can survive that stuff, none of his forms that Ganon has can stop him. And think about this, all his forms have specific ways to defeat them. They all have specific weak spots. And these things are so big and just out there, it's kind of like he's having a sign, hey, hit me here. This is my weak spot. It's the literal one part of my body that looks different. All of these forms are not going to stop him. It also makes him bigger and an easier target. And I won't even go into how fast Dr. Doom is. Based on with better teleportation and better machinery, he beats Ganon. Not even his Warlock form is better than anything Dr. Doom has. But look at this, guys. It seems that Ganondorf couldn't Triforce his way into a victory. The winner is Dr. Doom. Remember to check out the animator one more time, but right now, it's time for the next fight. Next time on Fictional Characters Collide. Well, you guys already know, so I'm just going to show you the thumbnail.